All right. I'm going to take a little unusual tactic today that I normally do. One of the things that people have kind of shared sometimes is their favorite quotes. And one of the things that people know about me is that I've been kind of reading the Bible, but I do not intend this to be a religious experience. Trust me, please. It's not that. But I found something that could be appropriate for work, for business. And the quote is here: "A man scatters the seed on the ground night and day, whether he sleeps or gets up, and the seed sprouts and grows, though he does not know how." What do I mean by that? Meaning you're doing the work, you're doing a lot of work, but things are just not happening, or you're not happening the way that you hope that they're happening, or the way that you plan on it. But all of a sudden, in peripherally, something happens where it gives you that springboard to sales or to do your business, but you didn't expect it the way you thought you were thought it was going to happen. Anybody ever have that experience where they've done something like that and peripherally? So for example, like myself, I'd be making calls and nothing works, leaving voicemail messages, and I've been, doing things on command, Zoom, talking to people face to face. But all of a sudden, out of the blue, I get a phone call from a friend of mine saying now she's looking to buy a home. Or, again, this message that I saw on Facebook about this guy that needs a rental, and things kind of bloom out from there. Anybody else have that happen?
Yeah,
All the
Seth,
time.
I've had that happen before, and I call it activity breeds activity. It's like you're doing one thing really well and you're not
Yeah.
seeing success. And then all of a sudden, I had people reaching out to me from Facebook saying, man, I see you hustling, and can you help my mom sell her home? And I wasn't advertising on Facebook to get business. I was just showing my hustle and everything I was doing to, get a hold of people and sell houses, and that activity there brought me other opportunities. So yeah, I've seen that happen.
Yeah, and to me, Seth, that it kind of means that every seed that you plant isn't going to grow into a tree or a plant that's going to provide you fruit. But if you just keep on, spreading it around and letting everybody know, and things will start growing in places you never expected. And that's kind of what that's what that means to me is, if everybody knows you're a realtor, don't be a secret agent. Let everybody know and talk about it and advertise it, and tell your friends to recommend you, and it'll come from everywhere.
Yeah. So it's almost like it's like kind of when you least expect it, something comes up.
Yeah, that happened to me. Like I have a friend of mine, and he's known I've been a realtor for 5 years, and he's made one or two moves throughout the years. I was upset about it, and I didn't let it get in the way of our when we'd hang out. And now he's selling his home, so he called me up to do it. And I was like, okay, finally, you said I haven't left the business in 5 years, so he's like, I'm gonna watch to see that you stay. I'm like, yeah, I'm competent, thank you.
So how does that make you feel?
Relieved because I get it. I probably do the same thing in my life with other people that I know, that are, you want to owe them something, but sometimes it's also icky. Like you don't want to work with a friend. Can you fire the friend? All that stuff. But it made me feel, it was nice. But I do feel additional pressure because as compared to somebody who's not a friend, I don't want to mess this up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's like, I don't want to overprice it. I don't want to it's that thing that now like all of your friends have people in common, and now he's going to know me on a different dimension. I'm going to do a great job, but I'm just saying.
So I'm going back on Raj's comment over there. When you work with friends or family, do you feel additional pressure to shine, or is it easier to work with friends and family than to work with total strangers or people that you pick up through prospecting or normal day activities?
I think it's more difficult to work with family.
Okay.
Same. Definitely more stress.
I agree. I think it's more difficult. They do expect more from you when you're working with. They expect you to bend over backwards and do stuff that you wouldn't normally do. Pick them out when they're not pre-qualified just because they're family, things of that nature.
So, Baronda, I'm sorry, because you were kind of a little light there on the volume. But so you said it's more difficult to, more challenging to work with people in your family.
Yes, because they expect a lot more. Usually, especially when you're working with a buyer that's a family member, a lot of times they want you to work without pre-qualification, or if you're working with the seller, they expect that you, they can call you any hour, all hours of the night. They overstep their bounds when they're family members.
I see.
One thing with my case is that this client, my friend, is that he's telling me the whole background behind, like, his sister was living in the property, they own it together, her ex-boyfriend won't move out, they're trying to kick him out. And then he tells me about all of his family stuff that's going on with that relationship going on. And he's like, we're going to kick his stuff out. So I'm on that relationship on both a personal level, but then as a realtor. So I can't be like, oh, when are we listing it? Because they're still dealing with, like, they were supposed to be engaged. Like, it's all that going on. But he tells me this. And then he's like, oh, by the way, regarding the listing. And I'm like, okay. And it's, it puts me in a very weird position, but I try to keep it professional.
Yeah, good. I mean, one of the things that I've seen too is, like, I've when I work with people that I know, all of a sudden, like, I'll send them all the documents and materials that I send my other clients, and some of them will be not only blown away but kind of shocked. It's like, oh, Seth, we're friends, and they kind of feel that, well, it's like they thought I was going to be a little bit more lax today, kind of more lax, but I'm stepping up my game, intentionally, because even though they're friends, like, I don't want to lose them as clients and referrals. Do you guys feel the same way, or?
Absolutely.
Seth, what I notice is that most people, when they have family members, like, we stop doing things. We don't have that certain level of standards. We don't, like, pre-qualify. We don't do a listing presentation. We just kind of show up and think because they're family, we have an instant in.
Right.
And so if we want them to treat us a certain way, we also have to behave a certain way as well. And we have to have standards and stay professional and go in there and treat them like any other seller we would meet. And by that, I also mean, don't discount your commission just because they're family. You go in there, you're doing your job, get paid.
Right.
You start discounting your commission because you're helping out family and friends, they're going to be in your pocket the entire transaction. So you got to just go in there and just be professional about it.
Hey, Mom, pay 6%. That's going to be a nice Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I actually had a friend who chose me because they knew that I would be professional, and I knew their entire family. We grew up together since high school, but that was one of the reasons why they came to me and said, we'd like you to represent us to sell our home because we know you'll be discreet and professional.
That's good.
Well, I've had it work both ways. I'm relatively new to the business, and the problem is that I'm coming across a lot is friends and family think they know how to price houses better. So when I'm because that's a challenge. They just because I'm new, they're like, yeah, but I think this and this. I'm like, and my thought process is negated because I'm relatively new. The numbers I show don't matter. it's
Susan, are you in New Jersey?
I am.
That's last time. No, I wanted to do some CMA. So if you have someone, send it over to me this way you have a second backing. Maybe that would help you. I'm also just looking for someone to do CMAs with. This way I can give you a second opinion and see if my pricing is accurate.
Oh, that would be good. That would be good.
This way you can be like, it's not just me. I asked a few agents in my office, but I thought, we know each other. I'm a little new. Asked an agent that has over 12 years experience. They also
That's a great idea.
That's an awesome offer, Jason. And Susan, also keep in mind too, don't talk about what you think their home is worth. It's not what you think, it's what the market is dictating. So the language you use is a little different as well. If you say the market is dictating this price versus I think your home is worth this, If it's your opinion, they're going to push back on you. If it's fact from the market, it may be a different conversation.
No, did I don't, okay. No, I do back it up. I do say I show CMAs, but it's still my opinion in their brain because they haven't put me over in this category yet as a business professional.
Understood. I hear where you're coming from.
So I want to just make a comment on Seth's quote for a second. I think for just speaking for me, I like instant gratification, right? You want to know that you make the calls and then you're going to get a call back the next day and someone is going to come and list my house. So that's something I need to work on, that you do need to nurture and water it and put it in the sun and put it in the shade and work in every way. And then someday it's going to grow somehow if you keep doing it, right? And as far as friends go, I think it took a long time for friends to realize that I was serious and in the business, not just someone else who just has a license. So with friends, you have to keep always showing that side that you are a professional, because they tend to forget too that you are a realtor. Even family forgets. My brother forgot I was a realtor. I feel like I'm at a point now that every time someone sees me, a friend, if we're sitting talking, they always say, how's the market? What's going on with that house over there? Why didn't this, it always come back to real estate. So it's always nurturing those two, because you never know when something is going to come out of those,
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
got it. It's about nurturing those relationships, and it could be 2 months, it could be 2 years, 3 years, whatever, but all of a sudden you don't know, out of the blue, something's going to come up, and boom, there's that next sale, or there's that next listing.
Mm-hmm.
And what Hazel just said, I agree with that. But the funny thing is, when they do ask me, even if something went badly, I'm like, oh, I'm always positive. I'm always up. The market's great for sellers and buyers, because they're always fishing around, and you always want to be positive. So I think positivity with them, and then they're there for you, and then they start thinking about that as well. So yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to add something also, that if you're going on a listing presentation with your family member, I agree that you should be professional and do a listing presentation. But if you come in and they're ready to list without the presentation, don't go forward and try to do the presentation. Just fill out the paperwork. If they're ready to list, start filling out the paperwork.
That part.
2 points that I want to add. Sometimes when we're dealing with friends and family, and really in any social setting, when the conversation turns to real estate, is that we tend to, in my opinion, engage for too long without setting an appointment. Putting the pause in there and saying, you know what, let's set up a time for us to talk about that, and us putting parameters, setting our business hours. Because if you were having a conversation with your doctor at a cocktail party, at some point that doctor is going to cut it off and say, let's make an appointment so we can come in and talk about this in more detail. So I think it's up to us, and to find our own personal ways of setting those parameters with our friends and family, and shutting the conversation down and setting that appointment with them. The other thing I wanted to go back to in regards to the quote, gardening has been my theme during this pandemic period. And one of the things that I noticed recently is that sometimes we think that we are planting these seeds, and like we can almost predict, because we've been tracking our numbers, but like when we're going to expect results. Something in my own personal literal garden that I have come to realize is that I didn't anticipate what was going to happen when these things really started to grow. I didn't have a system in place to take care of what is happening. And so now I have melons growing, and I'm trying to rearrange and where are these vines going, and trying to, because I didn't really put a system in place. I was just like, let's plant it and it's just going to happen. And, and then I'm going to get the fruit. But there's a whole system and process in between. So I would say while there's still seeds, you're still putting the system in place of what's going to happen on the next step. You're anticipating what those next steps are going to be. So when they do, mature, you're ready.
That's good.
I am literally mints in my yard, and the mints took over. I had to kill them all, guys. I'm like, I can't drink enough mojitos for all these mints, so I get it. Got to have some systems.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, the last thing I want to say about working with family is don't take anything personally. This is business, and you got to treat the relationship with them as business. I work with my brother, sold his house 3 times, and he wouldn't accept an offer, and I finally had to fire him, and he wound up selling it at the price 50 grand below what I told him, what I had offers for, like a year and a half later. So,
wow.
It is what it is. It didn't really, at the time I was, irritated, but I said, you know what, if this wasn't my brother, would I be so upset? It is what it is. It's just another customer. So you definitely have to separate it as a business transaction and treat them like you would any other customer, give them the white glove service. And, if you act professionally, they'll start to treat you that same way. So,
yeah.
Also, I would like to add that when I first got my license, my aunt was selling her house, and she didn't use me. She didn't think I would be ready in time to list her house. So, I got upset, but I never showed it. And right now, I'm in attorney review with her on a condo. So, what my point is that, just respect them, respect their decision, because you never know later on, they might come back to you for another purchase or sale.
That's good.
Anybody else last words? Go ahead. Susan.
Well, the line for me that makes these things easier is some will, some won't, so what? That's how I live my life.
Some will, some won't, so what?
Some won't, so what?
Okay.
All right, it is 9:07. Thank you all for joining us, and hope we have a great, productive day.
Seth, let me jump in really quick. For all of you guys who are in push, I just wanted to remind you, I added a session for tomorrow at 11, and we're going to go over objections. We also have Meena Patel. She's actually going to present a listing presentation, soup to nuts. So if you haven't seen it, and you want to see someone actually do a presentation, she'll be doing that right at 12. So the call will go from like 11 till 12:30 tomorrow. So just so you guys know.
Cool.
Okay,
Cool.
thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Sounds
Have a
good.
good day.
And Ira, I'm working. I'm still working on the planks, dude. I'm working.
Wait, that's tomorrow, right? Oh, he logged out.
No, I feel like I need more time, Ira, but I'll do what I can tomorrow, man. I'm up
You were already up to 4 minutes.
3 minutes and 45 seconds. My daughter's up to 4.
So I think you'll be ready. I believe in you guys.
David, do you know how exciting it is that she started doing this with you? That's pretty awesome that she committed herself with you. That's pretty cool.
The coolest thing, Haza, is like she's my accountability partner.
Yeah.
Like I went to my bathroom and she had a note written, "We have to do our planks today." I'm like, okay, right? It's awesome. Talk about accountability. She's keeping me on track, and it's fun for us to have that bonding time. We're on the floor, we're laughing, and it's incredible.
And even your dog is there with his paws like that. Like,
oh, he's like, this is light work for me. He's
right.
How old is she,
Who's
David?
doing the pool? This is a good one.
She's 12. She's 12, Baronda.
Yeah.
that was awesome. I can't wait for tomorrow. I'm excited.
Okay. We'll do it.
All right.
All right. See y'all tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.